What's up, beautiful souls? I feel strongly pulled to put this message out. And I think it's probably one of the most important messages yet. Early on, we've seen this division happening, and I didn't speak up. Not as many times as I felt like I was called to. And that has a lot to do with trying to be humble and to try to understand every aspect and every side. And maybe it's a little too late in the game with all those particular topics. But I was reminded when it was all said and done, in a roundabout nutshell, in this mirroring of good versus evil, conscious versus unconsciousness. Anything that's led by deception is not led by love. And today, I have had this heavily on my heart. I've prayed, and I feel very much called to speak about it. And that I'm seeing another line of division happening. And if you're still on the sidelines, I assure you, a time will come where being on the fence isn't going to help. You're going to have to choose. But this message is more in line with those that are standing in light, those that are standing in truth, and those that are standing in love. The division that's beginning to be displayed. In that, if your ideology doesn't conform exactly to another's, then you may be being pushed to be shamed or create a division again. What has been beautiful is watching people stand up for the truth, the light, and the love, which I would like to briefly touch on that, because when we talk about truth, was truth but a perspective, right? But when it's fueled by love and a comprehension like that of the divine, we can level up. So, my main message right now is whether, no matter what somebody identifies as, if they are standing in truth, light, and love, may we not cause more division, especially in this time. If you're concerned about whether it's going to save a soul or about judgment or whatever it may be, your truth being more right than the next, I ask you to halt. And worry more about your connection with the divine, with God, and that relationship, because you'll never know exactly what that relationship is for another person. Moreover, we are in the battle of light versus dark. And all those conscious areas of different grays, right? But if you're on the lighter gray, fighting for truth, light, and love, but maybe you identify as an atheist, being ruled by your moral conscience, maybe you consider yourself a witch. And may I remind you, back when there was witch hunts, I would have been considered a witch because I'm an empath. I'll stand by you if you stand in truth, light, and love. If you are religious and you're standing for light, truth, and love, I stand with you. If you are spiritual and you stand for truth, light, and love, I stand by you. If we are fighting for truth, light, and love, let's not let the details of how our relationship with God, the creator, the universe, and if that is a trigger, time to go into an internal reflection. May standing in truth, love, light be enough to unify us across all different cultures, different beliefs. Because I see the division happening within the group of truth, love, and light. I can't help but ask how much maybe Jesus went through this in his time. So let's take a minute to talk about truth. Often I say what's inscripted on your heart is truth. And I believe the covenants, according to the Bible, is agreed to be inscripted on your heart. Now, whether you believe in the Bible or not, a moral consciousness, an internal knowing of right or wrong. That's why I bring up the atheist who knows right from wrong and has a moral conscience. It's still inscripted there. And they're willing to stand next to us, stand with us in truth, light, and love, however you identify. And truth being that of the golden rule. We may not have the full perception, and that's how we gain a broader truth is by listening to everybody. To see the angle that we may have missed. Light that sheds the truth on all that has been laid in the dark, in the shadows. And when you really apply this golden rule, it applies to all. Often I say words get confused and misconstrue the energy. But the devil genuinely loves to hide in the details. It's that same analogy as standing next to my gay brother or sister, lesbian or however, who's standing for truth, love, and light, and recognizes that the agenda being pushed on our children is not right. But it doesn't make them all wrong either. Does that make sense? It's the agenda and the way the devil's gotten into try to exploit good hearts for its own purposes. The reason for discernment, I assure you there's something so much more spiritual happening at every level, every decision, mundane or not. And why it's called to live in a state of consciousness at all times. I do believe a time is coming that you're not going to be able to sit on one side or the other. If you're on the fence, you're going to have to choose. But I do ask that if you choose, let it be in truth, love, and light. And if one of your brothers or sisters doesn't see exactly as you, but still willing to stand for those moral virtues, then don't condone them, because that's not your place. That's what's on my heart. May I remind you, we have confused love and kindness for coddling and condoning bad behavior. I'm not asking that. I am not. Truth, love, light comes down to the golden rule. We may not have the higher perception of it all, but it's written in our hearts. It's already inscripted. Moral consciousness. And if we get in tune with that and we heal so within, so without, we can see what's happening on a much more global spiritual realm. I always think about Einstein. If a kid can explain it, then you understand it easily. When it comes to energy, I still sometimes fumble in my words. But that's really what it is. God, Jesus, divine, whatever it is, will do the judging. But may we stand in our truth, our love, our light, which should all be fueled under the same energy spectrum, whether it's articulated a little bit different, but under that same energy, so that we may unite. That's my message. Because I see it. I see it coming. I love you. I love you so much. For a time such as these, right? Namaste.